Hi guys, sorry this isn't a tutorial on this eye makeup look. It's going to be a tutorial on my foundation and how I do my full coverage foundation routine now. Also, apologies for my voice, I've been really ill and my voice has only just come back. Anyway, I'm gonna get straight into it. So I've done my eyes. I always do my eyes first, like the top, and then I do my foundation and then I do underneath my eyes. That's just my preference. Some people like to do foundation first. Personally, I'm really messy, so I just do my foundation afterwards, otherwise I'll end up with eyeshadow all over my face. So I normally start with my Hydra Pro Glow. This is by Kiko. You've probably seen me use it in loads of videos before. And it's my favourite moisturiser, kind of primer-ish thing. And it just gives like a nice glow to the skin. Now, the foundation I use at the moment is the Kiko Unlimited foundation. This is in the shade Warm Rose 1. I've gone back and forth with this foundation for a long time. I've used Charlotte Tilbury foundation for quite a while, but because of that being for my clients, I've kind of had to try something else. So I use a couple of pumps of that, and then I use a damp beauty blender. This is not damp right now, so I'm gonna go and wet it. Okay, I've wet my beauty blender, and now I'm just gonna go straight in. This colour does oxidise a tiny bit, so I will be highlighting to make up for that. This foundation says it's full coverage. I wouldn't say it's full coverage, I'd say it's more of a medium coverage. It's not super full coverage, but it does cover quite well. And this is actually one of my favourite foundations, which I've always find myself going back to because it's a really nice finish and it lasts really well. Once I get down to my brows, I actually use a brush, just a little concealer brush, and I sculpt around the top edge. I always do this with my foundation because if I do it with a concealer that's lighter than my skin tone, you end up getting that like halo effect around your eyebrow, which can just look kind of bad, in my opinion. So I sculpt that out, and then just blend the edge of that foundation in. So I've left space under my eyes because I am going to use concealer. And the concealer that I now use is by Revolution, and it is the Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer. This is the dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. I've never actually used Tarte Shape Tape myself, but I've been using this as an eye base and as a concealer, and it is amazing. Holy grail, it's £4 and they have a huge shade range, and I'm really hoping to get every single shade. I do the kind of triangle shape underneath my eyes like you always see the beauty gurus doing. So I bring it down the side of my nose, sweep it up on my cheek, and then bring it up like that. And then Cupid's bow, the corners of my mouth a bit. Chin, I go along my jawline. That's just my personal preference because I like to make my jawline look a little bit more sharp. Some people like a softer jawline. Down my nose, put a little dot on the centre of my nose because I like to make it look pointy. And then on my forehead. I friggin' love this concealer. I'm just gonna zoom in so we can appreciate this. Do you see how friggin' flawless this is? That concealer though. I mean, it creases up a little bit under my eyes, but once I put eyeshadow over that, it's not a problem. I love it. If you've watched my videos in the past few months, I guess, then you know I use the Fenty Beauty Stick thing in Amber. I really like this colour because it's ashy and I think it works best for my pale skin. I would use more of a warm colour on clients that have a dark skin tone, but for me, I love this ashy colour. So I just draw on where I need it. I like to contour a fair bit on my forehead because it's massive. So if you don't already know how to kind of place your contour, especially under the cheekbones, which seems to be the issue with a lot of people I've talked to, and they've said it ends up being muddy and like just doesn't look like it's in the right place. Your best guide is using the top of your ear here, just where it starts to curl around. So you go from that point to the corner of your lip. And then what you do is when you blend it, you don't blend it any further than the outside of your eye. So you just want to keep it in this area, and that will give the impression of like a slimmer face. If you'd like a full video on contouring, let me know, because I could probably go in depth about highlighting and contouring. Now I'm going to just go a tiny bit underneath that highlight on my jaw. I don't use much on my jaw just because I feel like if you use too much it can end up making your foundation look like it just doesn't match your skin. And then I am going to go down the sides of my nose. Sometimes it's good to get a little precise brush to place this colour, but I'm kind of used to using a stick now. So obviously nose contour really depends on the shape of your nose and what you want to achieve. So for me, I go straight down either side and I bring it up a little bit underneath my nose to give it that lift, and then I do a little line across the top like this, so that it creates like a little kind of circle on the end of my nose, which is where we're going to add a highlight so that it looks pointy. It's all about understanding your nose shape. So for example, if you have kind of like a lump in one side of your nose, you would only contour that. You wouldn't contour both sides completely. It really depends on the nose, and there's no good way of kind of showing you how to do that unless I had loads of different noses in front of me. Now what I use to blend my contour is the Zoeva 110 face shaped brush. I really love this brush. It's like a synthetic kind of circular shaped kabuki, and it's quite small, but it's also like not too sturdy but not too soft. It's just right. So with this I literally just go in circular motions and I blend out that contour. I always like to really take my time when I'm blending out contour because I want to avoid that kind of muddy look. So we're always blending the contour upwards. Don't worry too much if you get it a little bit muddy down here, because we can always clean that up with powder. So now it's time to blend my nose contour, and I'm using a little synthetic brush by Real Techniques, and it's kind of like a dome brush, so it's got a lot of control, and I'm just blending that down the sides. So you can already see that's instantly changed the shape of my nose. It does tend to look a little bit too dramatic when you first do it, but once you powder, it doesn't look as scary. To clean up my contour and kind of bake, I'm using the RCMA translucent powder. I just pop that on a little palette and I get it on my beauty blender. I like the Real Techniques one because it has like a flat edge, so it's really good for baking, getting underneath that contour. And I do the same on the sides of my nose. I literally just highlight to the side of my contour. It just makes it pop a little bit more. And then I go underneath my eyes. And sometimes, depending on how pointy I want my nose to look, I take a little bit of powder on the end and I just dot it there on the end. I don't like to leave my face baking for too long because I feel like it can end up looking a bit too unnatural, and I'm all about heavy coverage, foundation and all that, but this is like what I'm happy with. So I literally leave that on for a short amount of time and just brush it away. My nose I leave a little bit longer, but under my eyes I brush away because I feel like too much powder can make it look cakey and dry. And then I literally just use what's left on the brush to set the rest of my face. Now, I've never been a fan of bronzer until recently, so I use my Illamasqua Glint and Solar Powder Bronzer, and I go in with this top colour, which is a bit more pinky toned, so I think it suits my pale skin. And I just pop that above my contour. And as you can see, I don't really do the whole apples of the cheek thing. I feel like that can sometimes look a bit tacky and a bit doll-like, so I actually do it in a stripe, following the contour. Now I'm going to wipe away the baking on my nose. And you can see that's just softened it a little bit and it looks a lot more natural. As you've probably seen in my more recent videos, I've been highlighting using the Summer Strobe Spectrum palette by Zoeva, and I especially love this white one here. It is so blinding and I love it. The brush I use for highlighting usually is the 105 Luxe Highlight brush by Zoeva, or I go in with the fan brush, which is number 129. But I really like this one because it's better for packing and getting a strong highlight. I just pop that on the tops of my cheekbones. And yeah, this is blinding. And I'm gonna keep it bow. For my nose, I take a little bit on my pinky finger and I just pop it on the centre of my nose. Bring a little bit down there, and sometimes a little bit just above my brow arch. And it gives that lift. So from here, sometimes I do like my freckles all over my face, and obviously I'll finish under my eyes and my lips. But that is basically my foundation routine when I want to do something full coverage. I'll give you a zoom in so you can have a look. So I love a glow. And I love full coverage. I sometimes go in with the Huda Beauty foundation in Milkshake to highlight, but now that I've found this concealer, I've found I don't need to use that, and this actually lasts a lot longer and looks a lot smoother. So that's my finished look with my foundation routine. If you'd like to know my natural foundation routine, then let me know, and I will see you in my next video.